you boys. It's me.
And me.
We have a story time for y'all today, and it's very exciting, so get excited. Okay.
I don't think they're excited yet.
Yeah, come on.
You can do it!
Okay.
This is a story all about how
my life got flipped,
turned upside down.
and I'd like to take a moment
To sit right here.
Is it minute?
I don't know what the rest of
Minute
it is. To sit right here and
I'll tell you how I became a prince of the town called Bel Air. We get copyrighted. I'm a senior in high school. I'm 17 years old right now, and I almost died.
No clickbait.
No click. So we're going to start from the beginning of the story, and it's quite a journey of a story, if I do say so myself. So let's get on with the video. Okay. So, this is going to be both of our perspectives because we were both involved in this. She didn't almost kill me, but
It wasn't quite as traumatizing for me.
So Chloe and I work part-time as students at a media company within our school district. So over the summer we work during the day as a part-time staff employee. And so leading up to the night before my accident, we were just working. It was just a normal day, and I remember parts of it because of like Snapchats that I've like gotten notifications like a year ago today or whatever. It hasn't been a year, but like you can go back in your Snapchat and look at everything. Yeah, it was towards the end of July, beginning of August, and I know a lot of people when they talk about like dramatic stories are like,
it was at this moment
on
August
this
8th,
night, 2007. No, but it was the beginning of this past August, the end of this past July, so it's pretty recent. We just had a normal day. I actually went to like a construction zone to shoot B-roll of people like slabbing cement on bricks, and it was just a normal day, I guess.
Just a normal day in a hard hat.
And I was wearing a hard hat. So Chloe was house sitting. She was dog sitting. At the time, Chloe, myself, and one of our friends, Zach, we went over to the house that she was babysitting, and we would just like hang out, go like have dinner with her and just hang out. And we did that like a few times because she was like house sitting for a while. So we just had planned to bring our bikes over, and we were going to ride our bikes around the neighborhood. The neighborhood that she was house sitting at was a neighborhood that I used to live in like a few years ago, so I knew the neighborhood, so I was like, I know all the places, we could ride our bikes. We like rode our bikes around the neighborhood.
Which, by the way, can I say was traumatizing in and of itself because both of my bike tires were flat, but like, I don't disappoint. When I say we're gonna go bike riding, we're gonna go bike riding.
And I brought my own bike. Rip. No, but I brought my own bike. But I drive a pretty small car. Like, I took my mom's car. It's not a really big car, but it's definitely like taller, like the height.
It would fit a bike.
It would fit a bike if you put the seats down in the back. I brought my mom's car and loaded up that there bike and went over to Chloe's. And what I'm telling y'all, I actually don't really remember much of it, but I remember okay, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know how to say that. But basically, I know this happened because she told me it happened, so I'm just telling you as though I know, but I honestly don't remember it. I remember like some parts, but I went to her house. I don't remember like driving to her house with the bike. I don't remember loading the bike. I just remember like being in her house. I don't remember riding bikes, but we have footage of us riding bikes, so it would have had to happen because she would have had a hard time making me do that if I was unconscious. So
like, okay, Emily, now perfect, just like pedal. Like,
basically, I went over there, our friend Zach went over there, and we just hung out. We were having fun. Like, I think did we ride bikes before we got there? I think I remember him getting there, like driving up to the house.
We were trying to get back to the house, and he was trying to find the house, and we were like, we don't know where you are. He doesn't know where we are. We're still riding bikes. He's lame and didn't want to ride bikes, so that's why he showed up after.
Yeah, we were having fun, and she's gonna kind of tell about the night prior to the accident. But should we do that after I tell what happened? I left. I think that they said it was like 11:30 that I left.
Yeah, about.
And I'm 17, so technically, like, I don't have a citywide curfew anyways, and my mom just said be home before midnight, so we were riding bikes and just hanging out. I was just on my way home from her house, and I don't remember any of this, so this is just what I've learned. But I was at a stoplight on my way home. It was like around 11:30, I believe. I could be off on that, so don't sue me. I don't know who would sue me, but it was around 11:30 and I was at a stoplight. I'm sure I was jamming out to some music because that's typically what I'm doing at a stoplight. But a driver who we thought was drunk, he wasn't actually drunk in the police report that we got back. So we thought he was drunk the whole time. Like, everyone was saying he was drunk. So we just assumed. He hit me going 50 miles an hour from behind, and I was just completely stopped at a stoplight. So it's like hitting a brick wall for him, and I guess it's like a brick wall getting hit for me. I don't know.
Like a brick wall coming at you at 50.
Boom! Boom! So, I had the freaking bike in the back seat of my mom's car, and my seat broke on impact. And actually, we've done a lot of like research, and your seat shouldn't break. So at first, we thought that we would look into like pressing charges against the car company, because your seat shouldn't break.
No.
I mean, like, it just, the build of the car should not like have your seat break on impact. So basically, like, my seat broke, and at first we thought the bike came forward, but then when we went back to look at the car, we realized that my seat had broken backwards, and I went backwards. So I was strapped in.
I assaulted
the bike. So I was strapped in, but since my seat broke, your homegirl went backward with the seat because I was strapped in. So
Look at you wearing your seatbelt.
I hit the bike with my head, with my noggin, and I blacked out. Like, fell asleep. I don't know, would you call that falling asleep?
You just like
fell unconscious, like
knocked
blacked out.
out.
I don't remember any of this. I just want to clarify. But according to everyone else at the scene and everything that was going on, a bystander that was next to me at the stoplight saw the whole thing happen. A witness, he saw the whole thing happen, and he came over and like woke me up because I was like, and he woke me up. And during this moment, I subconsciously, is that the right word? Like, called my mom. I have facial recognition, so I must have been like, on my phone. And so, like, I called my mom and told her, and my mom said that I was like, I look excited, you're all sad, smiling through the pain. My sockets hurt. Actual pain. So I called my mom, and I basically was like, I'm just gonna reenact how she told me this happened. I was like, I don't know what happened, but I think I was just in a car wreck, but I don't know what happened. And she was like, what? And I was like, I don't know, I think someone hit me, I don't know. And she asked me where I was, and I happened to be near, like, where my aunt and uncle live, so she called them. And my mom got in my car and started driving to the scene. My aunt and uncle came over. They were talking to me, I'm assuming, I don't know. And they didn't know that I was, like, injured, I guess, which, honestly, like, why didn't they check? But I guess they didn't know I was injured until my aunt, like, hugged around me, and she grabbed the back of my head, and she moved her hand. There was, like, blood all over her hand. Can you imagine that?
She's like,
ah! So there's, like, blood all over her hand, and she was like, she's hurt, help her!
somebody, please!
Apparently, I've seen some really dramatic car accidents, not like dramatic where someone's hurt, but dramatic where someone's like, and they're like, carry me in the ambulance, but I just walked myself in there. And so I walked in the ambulance, and then my mom got there, and she kind of parked, like, in the middle of the road, and they were like, ma'am, move your car. So she moves her car. So she gets in the ambulance with me, and they saw that the back of the bike had, like, ripped open the back of my head. Yummy. I know. I hope you're eating. Had ripped open the back of my head. It gave me a concussion. See, football players, y'all aren't the only ones. So,
you can get a concussion by doing non-athletic things, too.
My mom said that the guy's car, he was in a much smaller car, so basically my car was elevated, like, my mom's car that I was in was elevated like this, so the guy that hit me, I mean, I was the brick wall, so the guy that hit me, and we found out on our police report, he was on his phone. He wasn't drunk, or supposedly on his phone, is what they think. So I think he was looking down and going 50, and he didn't realize that the light had turned red, and he was still looking, and then I'm sure he looked up, and I was, hello, I'm here.
He looked up, and you were like,
and so he kind of, my car was elevated, so he went, like, underneath, if that makes sense. You know, in, like, big 18-wheeler trucks, they have the, like, the bar, and it has, like, the white, like, it looks like a candy cane to, like, alert drivers, because I think cars would used to go under it, and it would, like, hurt people, because the back of the truck would go over top the car.
Would decapitate him.
Rip. So that's basically what happened to me. So he went underneath.
But you didn't get decapitated.
No. Head intact. So he went underneath my car, and his car was completely totaled. I mean, mine was too, don't get me wrong, mine was totaled, but his car was like literally, that's how they said it was like this. Like, glass was broken. I didn't break any glass.
And he just walked away.
Yeah, the man didn't have insurance. And actually, I'm laughing through the pain because let me tell you, that is not an easy thing to undergo when someone hits you, totals your car, all the medical bills. He didn't have insurance. I think that he was hurt because my mom said there was no way he was in that car and didn't get hurt. I think he was hurt, but he denied to go to the hospital. They asked him and he said that he didn't want to go to the hospital. And I'm sure it's because he didn't have insurance. And man, he didn't have that coin for those hospital bills because let me tell you, they're expensive. And I didn't know how much not having insurance is hid under the rug. Like, they kind of just sweep it. They sweep it under the rug because he got a ticket for failure to maintain speed and he got a ticket for not having insurance. And in my opinion, that's not right because I, as a civilian, as a 17-year-old who is typically considered a reckless driver, not me personally, but like
you're a good driver.
The stereotype of a teen driver is reckless. I pay for my own insurance and I go the speed, like I'm a very careful driver, and to me it's not fair that I have to live with the consequences of someone else and he didn't even have insurance. That's frustrating to me and I don't think that's right, and I feel like he just got a slap on the wrist and like I was faced with all the issues of his mistake and he didn't have to pay for anything, literally. And there's a whole bunch of legal stuff that I'm not going to go into. I'm sure he was fined a significant amount. I don't know, but not enough in my opinion because he could have killed me. And I think that if I was in my car, which is a lot lower, he would not have gone under me. He would have hit me like this, and I think it would have killed me. And I'm not even being dramatic. And I know people are in way worse wrecks, and I'm very lucky that this wasn't that bad compared to a lot of wrecks. But I think that if I was in my car, he would have killed me. And just the thought of like anyone being taken away from their family like that for the family's sake, and you don't have insurance, you just get a slap on the wrist. It's not right. Boot me in the ambulance. My mom didn't take any video of me in the ambulance. I'm very upset. Never been in an ambulance. I mean, I'm glad, but like how often do you get to look around an ambulance? She didn't take any video of the ambulance, which she knows I'm a video person. She didn't take any, which is very upsetting.
Can you tell we spent the last 3 years of our life on camera then?
I mean, you can't tell from this angle because these don't look that good. I don't remember anything. I had a CAT scan to see if I had brain damage.
I think she does, but they said she doesn't.
And I had a CAT scan when I first got to the hospital. They shaved the back of my head. It looked real cute. They shaved the back of my head, stapled up the laceration caused by the bicycle. I suffered amnesia. I cannot remember the day prior. I remember it's very frustrating to someone telling you something that happened and your brain just cannot wrap your mind literally around it. It's very frustrating because you know it happened, but it's like you have no recollection of it happening. And I also suffered from some fancy word. I basically kept repeating myself for the first, before I fell asleep. I think it was like 5 or 6 a.m. by the time I finally fell asleep. I just kept repeating myself and I would ask the same questions. I would ask, where am I? What happened? Where's Zach and Chloe? I kept asking where they were.
Were you in trouble?
Was I in trouble? Was it my fault? Was he drunk? And those like 5 or so questions, I would ask them, my mom would answer them, and then I would ask them again. And the doctor said it's really normal to repeat yourself because my mind, I guess, couldn't remember. I don't know, but I can't remember the whole day prior. When I think back, it's like I can see pictures, but I think that might be literally because I've seen photos. I vaguely remember shooting at the construction site, but I don't remember anything before or after. Like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. So I had a laceration, and then a concussion across the back of my head. I was out of work for a couple weeks, and my mom washed my hair every day for 2 weeks. She was a trooper. She was such a trooper. They came by to see me every once in a while. People were sending me candy and flowers, so that was pretty legit. And I was only in the hospital. I had 2 CAT scans done. I was in the hospital for 24 hours. When I got my staples out, like 3 weeks after I got my staples out, that really doesn't hurt that bad, but it's like kind of traumatizing. Like, the whole thing is traumatizing and life-changing. Just going through everything. I mean, shaving your head and then I couldn't sleep. I was on opioid prescription medication, and my mom was scared I was going to get addicted to them. So she made me stop taking them pretty quickly, and because addiction kind of runs in my family, I guess. So she wanted me to stop taking the opioids pretty quickly. I did, and after I stopped taking them, I couldn't sleep. It was like they completely impacted like everything. So I started taking melatonin, a lot of melatonin, and now it's like when I take melatonin, it doesn't even affect me because I feel like my body has some sort of resistance to whatever brand. I don't know how that works. I know your body produces melatonin naturally, but it doesn't work. It doesn't help me sleep anymore. It's very sensitive, so if I hit my back of my head, which happens more than you might think, if I hit the back of my head on something, I don't really feel it on the rest of my head, just on that area where the scar is. Like, it's across the back of my head. and I had no brain damage, which was good. And yeah, I'm just really thankful and blessed, and I think everything happens for a reason, and it's just part of my journey. We prayed about a lot of things. Yeah, but I think Chloe's going to take it away from her perspective. That's just kind of like basically what happened. Very short summary of what happened. Because this was like a month and a half long process, like recovery and everything. But the staples, getting staples out, if you're scared to get staples out, it's kind of traumatizing, the thought of it, but it doesn't actually hurt. Mine kind of hurt at some points because it like scabbed over this, that's really gross, but it scabbed over the staples, so when you ripped out the staples, it's like ripping off a scab on a very hypersensitive area. But it wasn't, some of them I couldn't even feel, but it's very traumatizing. They get these little looking scissor things, they just, I think I have the video of that too.
I think your mom took one.
Take it away, young chap.
It makes me really sad that you don't remember this, because it was one of, like, I'm not saying this to, like, be a jerk, but, like, one of the most fun days that you probably
love that for
like,
me.
have ever had in our entire life. And I mean, we did so many things. It's really honestly hard to remember, like, oh, no offense. It's hard for me to remember, like, all the things that we did because we just did so many. But, like she said, we went to work and that was a normal day. You went to the construction site and you were wearing a hard hat, and I remember that because you were like, out of all the things that I did with just her that day, she remembers going to the construction site with Zach. That's not fair, but whatever, I'll let it go. And then afterwards, she came to where I was at like 5, and then we started riding bikes, and we rode bikes until like, and we rode them for a long time, and I was miserable. I was complaining the whole time, which like, it was just weird, because you just kept like leaving me in random like areas
Sounds about right.
of the neighborhood, and you're just like, well, when you can stop complaining, you can catch up, come find me, because I just could not, my tires were flat. I could not pedal. Because you don't remember, but there was this like labradoodle that was like jumping over this fence and like barking at us, and you were like, hello puppy, but like, and then we went and tried to find Zach because he was lost in the neighborhood. It's kind of a confusing neighborhood to drive around if you've like never driven in it before. And then we went and jumped on the trampoline for a little while, and it was your idea. You were like, let's get the hose. So we like, oh no. We put a sprinkler on the trampoline, and then we were, like, soaked, like, all of us, like, our clothes, and they didn't have any, like, clothes to change into, so I didn't change, so we were all just, like, soaking wet, and one of us, I don't remember who it was like, let's go to Menchie's. So then we went and got frozen yogurt, and this part I think is kind of funny. It's not funny, but you got, I think, this one flavor that you've never gotten before, and you're like, this is the best one I've ever had.
So I just got all the calories, but I didn't get any enjoyment, because I don't remember it.
It was like a sour, like, fruit one, but you're like, this is it. This is my flavor. And then the next time we went back, they didn't have it anymore. And they're like, yeah, that was seasonal.
It keeps getting worse.
I know. So then we go back, and by the time we got back, the trampoline was dry. So we played a mean game of Cards Against Humanity, which wasn't that funny. Like, your cards kind of sucked.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I wish I could remember them.
No, you kept getting so mad because we'd keep asking you if you knew what things meant. And you were like, yes, I know what all these things mean. If you ask me again, like, I'm gonna leave or something. Zach went home, and we played charades, like the heads up. And let me tell you, when I say that we've never, ever done anything more in sync than we did the charades. We're gonna have to...
Sorry to interrupt, but in the hospital, this is weird about charades, right?
Uh-huh.
In the hospital, which is not that weird, I guess. So my phone was dead the whole time, and another one of the questions I kept asking my mom was like, can I have my phone? And she was like, it's dead, and I was like, can I have it? And should she give it to me? It was just like a repeating thing. When I finally charged it, charades was open, and I was like, that's weird. So anyways, that was just a weird... Also, a lot of random friends that, like, are more of acquaintances, because we don't hang out with them, messaged me. They saw the wreck, which is weird, like 3 or 4, which seems like a lot, because it is a lot. Just message me. They're like, hey, someone looked a lot like you that was in, like, a pretty bad wreck. Are you okay? So weird when I woke up to those in the hospital.
And so we played, like, charades, and... This is not, like, on topic, kind of, but there was one where it was churning butter, and, like, we could not, like, we kept getting that one, and we just didn't know, like, every time we tried to act it out, we could not get it. Like, we played, like, 7 or 8 rounds of this, and then you were like, oh gosh, I have to go, because we just played charades for so long. I think we started playing at, like, 10:30, and then you left about 11:30, so we played charades for an hour, just the 2 of us, and, like, churning butter kept coming up, and so then we didn't text about it that day, but then, like, the next couple days, like, when you were recovering, we started talking about it, and I was like, yeah, churning butter, and then for, like, the next week, all of our Facebook ads were about, like, farm fresh butter and churning butter. It was so weird.
They're listening right now behind the scenes. Hello, government.
So then she left, and I was just, like, at this house by myself, and I hadn't eaten, like, dinner, so I started making fried chicken at 11:30 at night from scratch.
Good idea.
It was pretty good fried chicken, and so she usually texts me when she gets home, and that night she didn't because obviously, like, rip, yeah. And so I was just like, oh, she probably forgot. So I, like, ate my fried chicken, like, stayed up a little bit later, and then went to bed. And then, I don't know, I have to look and see because it's been a while since I, like, listened to it. It's traumatizing a little bit. But, like, I woke up, like, Jolt woke up, and I was like, something's wrong. And, like, I had gotten a voicemail from Emily and her mom 5 minutes prior. I, like, listened to it, and I was like, I just woken up. I was confused. Everything was, like, crazy. She was just crying, like, hysterically. And I was like, I think something happened to her dog. I don't know why I thought that's what was wrong, but... And then, like, because you were just, like, incoherent in the voicemail. And then, like, your mom came on.
It's intense. We'll insert it. It's an intense voicemail. I'm, like, crying hysterically.
Hey, Chloe. It's Emily. I don't really know what happened. Don't be worried. I'm okay. But when I left the house, should I not leave this message? I'm okay. I'm in the hospital. What's going on? Here's my mom.
Hey, Chloe, she was just really wanting to call you, and I'm sorry it's so late, but she's going to be okay. You're just going to keep her till morning, and her phone's dead. So, anyway, she just wanted to call, and we'll talk to you later.
And she was like,
oh. And I was very medicated at this point. I was in the hospital. They had me on a lot of things. So.
And in the voicemail, your mom also didn't say what had happened. She just said that you were, like, upset and in the hospital. So, like, I didn't know if that meant, like,
she
you
finally
were in the hospital.
broke.
But, like, I, like, woke up and I was like, what? And so I, like, texted your mom and I was like, Emily's in the hospital? What? And she kept texting me. She was like, yeah, she was in a car accident. And then I just, like, freaked out. I think I had a mental breakdown, actually, because, like, it was the night before. Like, nobody told me you'd been in the hospital for, like, 6 or 7 hours before, like, I knew. I don't know. It was just, like, scary. Like, hearing your best friend, like that and then knowing that they're in the hospital and you didn't know. It's mildly traumatizing. Came and saw you, like, later that night and you were, like, you had, like, this blanket, and you were, like, laying on the little ottoman thing in your living room, and you're like, hi. Oh, you're here? And then I brought you, like, a card, just, like, writing out things that I was feeling. It's not that dramatic. It's not quite that dramatic. I promise I'm not dramatic. And then, like, I brought you some, like, records to listen to, because I knew you'd be, like,
Yeah, there's stuff there.
rest in peace. And then you were like, I'm so happy you're here, and you're like, dude, I got hit pretty hard. You were, like,
with those drugs,
out
too.
of it. And you kept, like, falling asleep. So, like, I was mostly having a conversation with, like, your mom and your sister because you, like,
Yeah,
every couple
My
minutes.
sister lives in Dallas, and she came back to be with me after.
Every couple minutes, you fall asleep and then you'd wake up and be like, you're here? I'm so happy you're here. And then you'd be like, dude, I got hit really hard. And then we'd, like, have a conversation and be like, I got so much, like, candy and stuff.
Oh, you want to hear my least favorite part? So they took my bike. Okay, my bike, like, she was not in tip-top shape after this wreck, because she was not. Like, I probably would have thrown her away, but they towed the car, like, the totaled car, to a place in our city, and then eventually they took it somewhere else in Texas. I don't really know. And my bike was still in the backseat, and they didn't let me keep it. They were like, oh, you're gonna have to file that under homeowner insurance. You're gonna have to pay, like, a $500 deductible. We were like, no, it was like a $100 bike max, probably not even 500. I don't know. I got it for a gift, like, from my sister a long time. Now some junkyard they're riding around. They're like, a free bike.
No, they're riding around
Yeah.
like this.
So, that's a story time of what happens when you're 17 and in a car wreck. And I think being in a car wreck, I read some statistic, it's like 1 in 4 people in their lifetime are in a car wreck. So if you haven't been in one, you're lucky.
Or your time's coming.
Or your time's coming. That's how it was with me. And I think not remembering it really helped me because I wasn't really scared to drive afterwards. I was a little timid, like, just because I knew what happened, but I feel like after people have wrecks, they have, like, a memory of getting hit, so they're really timid, and I didn't have that, so that was really good. I'm in a forensics class at my high school, and they told us about how, like, brain injuries can make people, like, crazy, and so I'm a little afraid that one of these days I'm just gonna start kicking pregnant women, but it hasn't come yet, so that's the story. If you want to have a conversation with me about it, you can comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe because we are posting 3 to 4 videos a week for the next couple months. The next couple months, maybe the next few months. We'll see how it goes. We're going to try to post as many as we can. So subscribe because you want to hear more about this girl and that girl. Okay, bye.
Bye. Subscribe to our channel.